What's good, lads and ladettes? Another episode of ABC, Always Be Baking. Name is it's a bit of a testing period right now. Didn't do too well with focus groups, but we're gonna see where it goes. If I don't have like 1,000 subscribers by next week, I'll probably just change it. But anyway, today we're gonna be making chocolate chip cookies. Now these are a classic, but I think there's a few things we can do here and there to really elevate them from like chocolate chip cookies to chocolate chip cookies. So anyway, let's get started with the dry ingredients. I'm going to start off with 11.5 ounces of all-purpose flour. Shout out to the wifey for getting me this handheld sifter. Once that's all done, you don't really have to sift it, but it definitely helps. We're going to add about a teaspoon of coarse salt, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and that's definitely going to give it that thickness. Teaspoon, maybe a bit less of cinnamon, and that's definitely going to give you some good flavor. And like we did with the brownies, we're going to add a teaspoon of espresso powder, and that's not going to make it taste like coffee. It's just going to really deepen that chocolate taste. Once we've got all that added up, we're going to give it a good mix just so we don't have any lumps or clumps. So yeah, the first kind of secret thing that we're doing here is that espresso powder. It's going to really take your cookies to the next level, so make sure you get that if you can. Cool, this is looking pretty mixed right now. Next thing we're going to do is work on the wet ingredients over by the stand mixer. Cool, so here we've got 2 sticks of butter that we browned. That's the next sort of secret thing that we're going to do. Browning butter, basically just stick it in a pan or a pot and cook it until the milk solids start to turn brown. It's going to give it a nice nutty flavor, really rich flavor. What I like to do is also put a couple ice cubes in there after it's done browning. That's going to give it back some of its moisture, and it's going to cool it down because we're eventually going to be adding eggs to this. So we're going to start off with 1.5 cups or 300 grams of brown sugar. Got to get that whisk out of the way. Oh, that is absolutely way too much sugar, but don't worry. And then 1/2 cup of white sugar, that's about 100 grams. Cool, and then we're gonna let the stand mixer do its thing and just really combine all that together. Cool, now that that's all combined, we're going to add 2 eggs to this, and like I said, the butter should be cooled from the ice, so we're not going to have any problems of the eggs kind of getting cooked from the butter. Again, let's let the stand mixer do its thing, combine everything, this is going to turn it to a nice like creamy thick kind of look to it, and if you want you can add a little bit of vanilla. That's going to also give it some good taste. Gotta love the camera just losing focus here and there because I keep putting my arm in the way. It's okay, I'll learn. Nice. Well, vum, 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 vum. Cool. Okay, look at that. That looks so good. It also smells incredibly good, but trust me on this, it's basically butter, sugar, and eggs, so don't eat it. We're going to add the dry ingredients. You want to add half of it first, let it mix together, and then add the remaining half. I'm not showing it on camera here, but you also want to change the attachment to the mixer attachment. Nice. That's basically after all the flour has been added, and then we can move on to the chocolate chips, of course. I do about 6 to 8 ounces. You could add more if you want like really chocolatey stuff, but up to your taste. I like semi-sweet or dark chocolate, something like 60 to 70%, just because there's so much sugar already in there. So we'll let that get a good mix in, and the dough is done. Cool, now that we've got the chocolate chips all mixed into the dough, look at that, beautiful dough. What we're gonna do is just shape them onto these parchment lined baking pans. And really you could shape them however you want. I like them pretty thick, and I think that's just the way to go. But anyway, we're gonna use our last sort of trick to make these cookies really good, which is we're gonna refrigerate the dough after we've shaped it. You could do it for I would say at least do it for an hour, but if you can do it anywhere from 1 to 3 days, what that's going to do is it's going to 3 things. It's going to give the dough a much like deeper, darker color. It's going to give it a richer taste, And what it's going to do is it's going to firm it up so the cookies don't sort of flatten out when you bake it. You get them nice and thick, which is obviously how you want your cookies. Cool, so I'm going to toss these in the fridge for 24 hours. I'll try to kind of edit all that time out of the video, but if I can't, I'm not really sure what to tell you guys. Just kind of be patient, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cool. Hey, welcome to the new day. Cookie dough is ready. It's good to go. We're going to pop them in the oven for about 350 degrees, 12 minutes. I would kind of turn them halfway through just because you don't know if your oven is kind of heating the whole thing evenly. So yeah, we'll pop them in and see how they turn out. Nice. Now that they're done in the oven, we're going to take them out once they turn golden brown and let them sit on a cooling rack for about 10 minutes or so. That way they finish cooking here instead of being overcooked in the oven. Now look, these cookies are huge, just how I like them. Pretty thick, THI-CC. Let's give them a quick taste test. Best way to taste test a cookie, of course, a glass of milk. So let's give that a shot right now. Sorry, this is actually the worst dab in the world I've ever seen. But anyway, it worked. The cookies were great, really good taste, perfect. And I mean, just look at these guys. Really good brown color, nice texture, and a good rustic look. So remember, use your espresso powder, brown your butter, and refrigerate the dough. Give them a shot. See ya.